Good Tavach, Shavua Tov, a good week to everybody, good morning, or good afternoon or good evening, I guess, depending where you are, but a good Tavach for sure. We welcome, oops, give me a moment. We welcome today Adam from Indonesia. Susan is in Scranton. Good morning. TJ in Australia. Erev Tov. Davida and Liba in New York. Welcome. Dana in Richmond, Virginia. Welcome. John, North Carolina. Shalom. Rabbi is with us in Morocco. Anna in Hungary, good afternoon. June in Australia, good evening. Sarah in New York, welcome. Cindy in Florida, Boker Tov. Arya also in Florida, in Miami, Shavua Tov. Michael in Virginia, welcome. Diane in London, Ontario is with us. Rena, Boker Tov to you in Colorado. Happy move. Simcha in Florida. Katie in Texas. Oh, please say hello to Avram Menachem. Very nice. Sandy in Michigan. Tim in Texas. Alice in Baltimore. Alberto in Brazil. Yohanan in New York City. And Eric is with us in Norway and in Mexico. Tommy in the UK. Susan in Florida, in the Philippines, Elge, I'm not sure I got that correct, in Calgary, Lardana, Pamela is with us in Virginia, Maria, who else? Okay. We have Bachi with us, Tea, Michelle, Jeffrey, Selena, Liliana, Sina, Tim, Andrea, Adam, Eric, Floor, Mustafa. Welcome. Together with Christo and Tony and Cheryl's Kosher Kitchen. And others. Reminder, since it's Sunday, so we do the class in two parts. Yesterday, today's. So we begin the 18th letter. Alter Rebbe begins with a quote from Shir HaShirim, Song of Songs from King Solomon. How beautiful and how pleasant are you, Abba B'Tainugim. Abba B'Tainugim, Abba means love. B'Tainugim, a delightful, pleasurable love. As we will see, there's two types of love. So the first one that we talk about is Ava B'Tainugim, means that you are delighting in God. Did you ever delight in somebody? Not because they did something for you, not because you gained something from it, but just you delighted in them. You had a pleasure, a love, delightful love just in them. Sensing their goodness, their purity. You can do that with a kid, it's easier. With a grandchild, it's very much easier. Right? But I'm sure we'll probably had some kind of experience. So this is delighting in God. Not because what God does for us, But that you've, so to speak, like when you taste something, how good it is. So when you taste and experience of being connected to God, how delightful, how sweet it is. The Alter Rebbe says that really this kind of love is a foretaste of what will come in the times of Mashiach. Today, we won't merit it, the truth. We're not going to be able to achieve this kind of love. This what's called in the Zohar, Kahuna de Berusa de Liba. It's a delight that you have, not that you're yearning for something. When you yearn for something, you yearn for it because you don't have it. This is the delight and the pleasure that you have in God, because there is that delightful connection. Now, Alter Rebbe says it's really a gift from above. You can't get there through human effort to be able to delight in such a way. Now, there is human effort that we need to engage in order to ultimately get this gift. So, like the person who works for a corporation and, they worked really hard and then they get, some bonus as a gift, above and beyond, unexpected. So, it's over and above and beyond. So this is over, above, and beyond the effort of the individual. Human effort can't gain this. What human effort can gain, we'll speak about a lower level of love, can gain the awe of God, that we work on ourselves in such a way. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we will be asked after 120 when we finish our time here, did you labor, not with love, but did you labor with awe? Did you work on yourself that you should come to a point that you can have a sense of God's presence? Just like when as I've experienced going before the Rebbe, in the sense of awe, standing before him. So I didn't have to labor for that, but to have that in reference to God, that's work. That's work. It's a hidden treasure that we have, but we have to dig deep to find that treasure. We have to exert ourselves. By contrast, this Ava b'tainugim, delight in God, there is no effort after having the lower level of love, the higher level of awe of God. Then this is gifted that a person can have. It and interesting that there's a phrase in the Talmud that darke shel ish lachzer achrei isha, that it's the way of a man to seek out a woman. Now, for a simple meaning, it's the simple meaning. The man lost something. He lost a rib. Adam lost something. So therefore, he's seeking that which he lost, that was taken from him and lost. Yeah, that was taken from him, and he's seeking, and that's the idea, to cleave to what would be the woman that he finds to be his wife. That's a simple meaning. The deeper meaning the Alter Rebbe uses over here is man represents love, woman represents awe. We'll get into that shortly. So what is the way of love is to come after awe. It's the way of love, man, to seek out the woman, awe. In other words, love comes after having sought out, working, laboring to have a sense of the presence of God. It's so powerful presence that we have an awe of God. Okay, let's unpack this idea. So the truth is, this is more clearly understood from the following when we have contrast of two types of love. Well, let's just briefly bring this idea out. It's a difficult thing because in the human condition, not to love something that is good for you. And you love it because, you have a pleasure from it. And that is, as we will see, the human regular kind of love, which we'll get into. But to have a pleasure in someone, not because they do something for you, not because they are wonderful to you and they did something beautiful for you, right? But to really have a pleasure just in them for who they are. That's not a simple thing to be able to get there. Simply for who they are. Not for any benefit that you have. Not because they, their goodness, their purity. We're coming to Rosh Hashanah. So, the Rebbe had more letters sent to him in the United States. They say more than any other person in the world, in the United States. I heard once he had the second most, I don't know, first or whatever. Many people sought out the Rebbe. And yet Israeli politicians, people in the army, a lot of people who were not believers, but they saw him out. And there were those religious people that were very upset that the Rebbe would, someone who's a non-believer, who works against the religion, is a politician in the land of Israel, and the Rebbe would be mekarv and bring them, close and try to, have a relationship with them. And people were upset. Not Chabadniks, there's not Chabadniks, obviously, not Lubavitchers, but, those, in any case, whoever. So the Rebbe wrote a letter once to one of them and saying that when it comes Yom Kippur and a Jew wakes up in the morning, this Jew wakes up in the morning and he goes straight to the kitchen and makes himself some eggs to eat on Yom Kippur. Sits down with a cup of coffee, eggs, and whatever, and looking at the newspaper. Then he puts on the radio, and he hears an announcer on the radio saying that today is a Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. He says, "Oh, I forgot. I even have tickets for synagogue." So he closes everything up, gets ready, takes his coffee with him, drives to synagogue, and then he goes in, sits there for 15 minutes, and then he realizes, oh my gosh, I forgot I have an appointment with my stockbroker. Quickly leaves, and the Rebbe says that the 15 minutes he spent in synagogue is a pure delight to God, a pure delight to the Almighty. Now, that is, of course, he spent time, he did something, but as a pure, think about it for a moment. Your kid, think about this as a metaphor. Your child, was disruptive in the morning, and in the afternoon, made a balagan. Your 7-year-old kid, 10-year-old kid, whatever, 15-year-old kid, right? Didn't listen, messed up, his room, her room, whatever. And for 15 minutes they did, they were peaceful and they were good. Now, So most of the day you're tearing your hair out because of what the kid did, right? So the 15 minutes, yes, maybe when they were good, so now you're going to try to, be positive, because this way you'll be positive about that in order to encourage them that they could have been before and after, good. So you wouldn't have to tear out your hair because you're just, beside yourself with, what the kid's doing. Now that would be normal. But that's what we're talking about over here. Imagine that you were able to literally delight in your child for the 15 minutes that they were good. Right? Not because you weren't tearing your hair out then. So it has nothing to do with their goodness. It just, oh, you gave me 15 minutes. I could relax. I don't have to be whatever. You understand? Who would look at those 15 minutes and delight in the child, have real pleasure in the child for those 15 minutes? You wouldn't. You would have delight from the respite that you didn't have before and after any respite. That's what you're delighting in, not in the child. For anybody that's a parent. Anybody that is a parent, this is a parent. That's what you would be doing. You would not be delighting in the child. Again, at best, if you were able to get yourself there, you would not delight in the child, but you would try to encourage them that they should continue with that kind of behavior. So it's not delighting in the child, it's just trying to get them to behave that way so you have a respite. Or whatever. That's why I'm saying this is not a simple thing. And that's why it's a gift from above, to be able to have that kind of love.